Welcome to the Fantasy Football Brothers podcast. My name is Blake, and I'm here with my younger brother Carson. And now that the Super Bowl matchup is officially declared, we're going to give our feedback on how the playoffs have gone so far and give some predictions for the big game. Carson,
yes.
How you doing?
I am ready. There's some great games this entire playoffs. I mean, I don't think this topped the divisional round, but it was still two really competitive games last night. But yeah, what great games, and I'm excited for this matchup. I mean, who would have thought Bengals, Rams? I guess Rams may be a little bit more predictable, but I just read that the Super Bowl 56 is the lowest seeded Super Bowl ever, and I guess I believe it. I can't believe it. It was close to being Bengals 49ers, and I was just thinking about that. Like, who would have thought that would have been the matchup? But that almost was.
That really would have locked in that record for a while for a 4 and a 6 seed. But we got a couple of 4 seeds here. I think it's going to be an exciting game. Joe Burrow took down the Chiefs. Let's talk about that.
He did it. So I think everyone that isn't just a fan of their opponents so far has been rooting for the Bengals to some degree. And yeah, I love Burrow. I love this Bengals team. They got so many young players like Higgins, Mixon, Chase, and Burrow are all under 25. And it's just exciting to see where this team could go. I mean, Burrow and Chase have still not lost a playoff game together in college or the NFL, I read. So that's crazy.
Yeah.
Just they have a perfect record forever. But I also saw a picture because when they were at LSU, they did like the smoking the Cuban cigars. And then I saw a picture last night of Jamar Chase's dad and Joe Burrow's dad smoking outside the stadium. And that was cool. So, I mean, everyone's loving them. I will say, though, I feel like they're getting a little, like, overhyped. I hope that they finish out because I'll say right now I want them to win. I wouldn't be super disappointed if the Rams win, but I'm rooting for the Bengals, as I'm sure a lot of neutral fans are. But, I mean, I saw, like, a talk show, some analyst comparing the matchup between the Bengals and Chiefs, and they're like, what quarterback you're taking? They're like, I like Burrow more in this one. And I'm like, okay, chill out a little bit. I mean, he ended up playing, honestly, better, but come on, he's not better than Mahomes. So, chill out, but I love Burrow.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. I think, Burrow is still very young. This is only his second season, so he's got a lot to prove in that regard. I mean, Mahomes already has a Super Bowl ring. But
yeah, and 4 straight AFC championships. So, I mean, I have faith in Burrow, but don't be making that comparison right now.
Yeah, whoever that was, probably a casual, we'll say.
Yeah.
But let's get into this. I'm thinking that with how the Bengals kind of turned things up in the second half of that last game, I'm hoping that they kind of carry that momentum and don't have another slow start. It could be difficult for them just because I think the best defense remaining in the playoffs was the 49ers. Yeah. And I kind of think that the Rams have a better defense than the Bengals. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I would say so. I feel like the Bengals, their final 2 stands against the Chiefs, the one that forced them to just kick the field goal at the end and the one that got the interception, like that's the best I've ever seen the Bengals defense. Usually I'm not looking at their defense and saying they're too unformidable. Whereas I feel like the 49ers Rams, I mean, the Rams got back-to-back weeks where they pressured the quarterback so hard that he threw up a horrible pass and then they got interception. It happened to Kyler It happened to Garoppolo. I mean, you got Donald, you got Jalen Ramsey, you got Von Miller. I mean, I can name people on their defense, so there you go. I think that's the better defense.
Yeah, for those of you that are this is your first episode of the podcast listening, Carson's more of a casual viewer, and I like to watch most of the games. So
I get a lot of my knowledge from fantasy, so it's limited with defense. Although I did get to see a good portion of these games, and they were very, very good. And just seeing the way they pressured Mahomes, like he was trying to do his like little magician run where he's running back and forth, but they just they were containing him.
Dude, he almost lost that fumble.
Yes, that would have ended the game.
Yeah.
I think was that Trey Hendrickson? I know his name.
Yeah, he had a good game. I think he pulled off a couple of sacks, QB sacks. Something else that would have won the game in the opposite way. Let's talk about the play calling before halftime for the Kansas City Chiefs. I mean,
oh yeah, you go take that over. I didn't get to see that live, but that is very interesting.
Yeah, so Kansas City had 10 points at the time, or sorry, Cincinnati had 10 points at the time. Kansas City was sitting at 21, so an 11-point lead going into halftime. That's decent. That's what they were at. The deficit was the same the last time these teams played, I think back in week 17, and the Bengals came back and won that one. But there were no timeouts for Kansas City, and they were inside the 5-yard line, I want to say. And the play that they ran was basically a wide receiver screen to Tyreek Hill to just, try to outrun the defense, running laterally, and then he got tackled, and they didn't have any timeouts, and they ran out of time. So if they had taken a field goal, if they'd taken a field goal before halftime, they don't go to overtime. They win that game likely. So just kind of I think it was a poor choice. I was saying while I was watching the game, I was watching it with my girlfriend Betsy, and we were saying that I was saying, they gotta take their points to the playoffs. I mean, I know they were going for the dagger there, but you got to take your points in the playoffs.
Yeah,
especially.
This is the AFC Championship, and you're at home, and you're building on a lead. Just keep doing it. I mean, the Bengals had to get a 2-point conversion, it seems, in that third quarter to even get within field goal range of them not having that field goal. So
yeah, they got a little greedy, I'd say, and then, man, the crowd went wild when they won the coin toss. Did you see that?
Yes, I did, and I was like, oh, come on, no way. I mean, obviously, they get themselves to overtime, so it's not like the win is being handed to them, but if they had back-to-back first possession overtime wins and, shootouts, this one wasn't the same as the Bills, but still pretty high scoring, I would have been like, come on.
Because of the outcome of that game, the record still stands that no team has in the postseason won consecutive overtime games.
Oh, wow. That's interesting. Yeah, and at first I saw that pick. I was so excited when that happened because I was wanting the Bengals, embracing my Broncos fandom. I saw that pick, and I thought for a second it was just like Tyreek Hill literally not holding on to it, but the cornerback got his hand on the ball, and then
he played
perfectly.
Made a good play.
It looked more like a Madden animation than a real catch for the other safety or whoever it was that caught it.
Those animations are based on real models doing doing.
That's
the
true,
thing, so,
but it just looked like it like AJ Brown's catch last week against the Bengals, the touchdown catch. That's kind of what it looked like for the interception. It just fit in perfectly into his arm from where it was going. It was funny, and I will say. Let me add this. This is the funny part I wanted to add. I had a dream last night, and for a second I had to remind myself that it wasn't real, that Andy Reid got fired.
Because he didn't kick that field goal.
Yeah, maybe. I subconsciously thought about that. And
they made a comment.
Go ahead.
Okay. They made a comment coming out of halftime that basically said Andy Reid was giving Mahomes the opportunity to make that play happen before halftime, but I honestly, I go back to it, man. I mean, points count in the playoffs so much. Every point counts. So
I mean, you're facing, maybe if they were against, I don't know, the 49ers, they would have tried to get more points, but you're facing a high octane offense, so just take what you can get. I don't they've proven that they can make a comeback, and you're facing a team that has a strong offense.
Recently, a month ago they made a comeback on them. So I think it was just a poor decision.
I also saw a tweet from a verified Kansas City news account, and they were just saying, playing the underdog. It was really funny. It's they counted us out. No one expected us to be here, and it's what are you talking about? This is your 4th straight AFC Championship.
They were the 2 seed.
They're probably alluding to the beginning of the season where everybody was saying, "Oh, what's happened to the Chiefs?" But come on. Yeah, playing the underdog.
What a dork. Yeah, that's a bad take.
Yeah, and it was a verified.
You were 14
channel.
and 6 in the regular season, or in regular season and postseason. So that's just ridiculous.
All right, you want to move on to the NFC Championship?
Yeah, let's talk about 49ers and the Rams.
Yeah, I was a little bit more neutral in this. I was watching it, and just based off how I was feeling, I guess I was sort of wanting the 49ers, but I was still pretty neutral. I mean, I really like Debo. I don't think I would have liked seeing Garoppolo get all the way there because he's not the reason they're there. That defense has played great. Debo is just an insane. He's like Taysom Hill, but if he was magnificent at every skill.
Basically, Taysom Hill who couldn't throw.
Yeah, and I think he even has.
And maybe
some
he
throws,
can throw, but he hasn't he hasn't gotten as many opportunities.
But he has become a gadget player in that sense.
Yeah.
Yes, it's ridiculous. That one touchdown he had, it's just they couldn't catch up to him. It's like they were trying to play flag football the way they were trying to tackle him because they couldn't actually bring him down, and he was just reaching at his waistband.
Yeah, totally. That was an exciting play, and I do want to kind of let's take this into a fantasy perspective just briefly. With how Debo's being used in these playoffs, what is your how do you feel about like drafting him next season?
I think at one point I was thinking
because
that
earlier in the season his upside was he was getting like double-digit catches a lot of weeks, and in PPR scoring that's really important.
He did completely change the way he was getting points, but he was still getting them. I think you're confident. I think if you I don't know. I think you have to be confident because this is a run-heavy team. He's the best wide receiver, and they use him as a gadget player. So I just think that the way I see that is if they're wanting to go for the run scheme, they're going to get Debo involved. If they need to pass, they're going to get Debo involved. Like, I just don't see a game script where Debo isn't involved. So I think that's what keeps him safe.
Yeah, I think it's possible that Garoppolo's on his way out, and it may be Trey Lance's offense next year too. So
I definitely
think that kind of increases the likelihood that it's going to be more run focused, at least at first. So
yeah,
I kind of agree with you. I think that Debo obviously he has the versatility to play both positions, but I think it does. I mean, it does limit his upside as a receiver, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, I would still take like those premier wide receivers probably over him. Like, okay, how about this? Since we're doing a little fantasy thing, and we'll probably talk about this later, would you take Chase over Debo fantasy-wise?
I do kind of expect Chase to become a more consistent player in his second season.
Like, I don't see his highs getting higher, but probably his lows will get higher.
Well, his highs are pretty dang high. So,
well, yeah, his highest is insane, but
yeah,
it's interesting to think about. It's hard to even compare.
It's a consideration. It's a consideration despite where Debo finished relative to Chase.
Yeah, even though they're the same position, it's hard to compare.
Yeah. That'll have to be something that we'll kind of. I mean, maybe there will be some reporting going into the preseason about how they're planning on using him. But it's something to consider for sure.
Yeah, and then the Rams. I'm happy for Stafford. I will say that. I'm happy for Stafford and Kupp to keep on having this season. I mean, he's incredible.
Yeah, he's on a historic tear. I think you've said on multiple occasions off the air at least that you think Davante Adams is the number one wide receiver in football, and I disagree at this point.
I mean, it's just so.
Kupp, I don't know how you pick against Kupp because he's got a super reliable quarterback. Well, okay, but we're talking about moving forward, where Davante Adams is not going to have his quarterback most likely. He's probably going to be playing in Denver or Tampa Bay. We'll see.
I wouldn't say. He might
Bucks
not
fans.
Leave. We'll
Bucks
see.
fans. Well, I'd be kind of surprised if he didn't, to be honest.
Yeah, we'll see. That'll be announced soon.
But yeah, we're speculating. But I just think that the way that Cooper Kupp plays with Matthew Stafford and how they vibe together, it's a really good pairing, and I think Cooper Kupp's gonna maybe not match his season next year, but still be very, very good.
Yeah, I mean, at this moment, right now, this second, yes, I think you'd have to say Kupp, but I think I have more confidence, and I don't know. It's hard to argue against him. I'm not going to. How about that? And it's so crazy to hit me. It's like I'm surprised he's their returner because he's not like particularly fast. He just does everything a wide receiver should do. Like, he gets open, he does the right moves. He seems very fundamental.
Yeah, I feel like it might be because of his, secure hands.
Yeah, that's what we were saying.
Which, speaking of secure hands, there was kind of an opposite of that in this game.
No.
Yeah, we gotta talk about
bad.
San Francisco's. I believe he's a safety.
Jaquiski Tart. Yes.
Yeah. Dude.
Oh, it's so sad. I saw on social media he did I take full responsibility and all the blame that comes my way is valid. That's an opportunity I dream of, and I blew it, and it's just it's so sad.
Yeah, because if
that
they
could have changed
play,
the game.
I think it did. I think it would have. I think that was a game-changing play, and unfortunately, it just hit him right in the hands and fell to the ground. It was brutal. I mean, there were so many. There were several drops, big drops in that game that I was like, how is this happening? Remember He's got a crazy name, Saronic or something for the number 18
yes,
for the Rams.
yeah, in the end zone. Yes.
Just completely abandoned in the end zone.
And the play literally before that, Kupp dropped one where he could have been gone for a long yards after catch touchdown.
Yeah, it was a pretty sloppy game, and I think that's why the score ended up being lower than it could have been.
That was just back-to-back plays where the receivers just sold Stafford.
Yeah, I mean, this game may not have been as close as it was if a few things go each team's way. But regardless, I think we're both happy to see the Rams in the Super Bowl this year.
Yeah, another home field advantage.
Yeah, that's true. That would be the first time because, Tampa Bay winning last year was the first time the home team won in their own stadium for the Super Bowl. And so back-to-back years, that's going to be a really tough record to break if the Rams pull that off. So let's go ahead and transition into Bengals and Rams. Who are you feeling higher on in this game?
Oh, who am I feeling higher on? I'll just say I want the Bengals, and I do think they can do it because I think out of these four teams, the Chiefs are the toughest opponent, and they did it in Arrowhead. So it's hard to bet against them, and I think they do have the momentum that's necessary to just win this Super Bowl. So I want Bengals. I will say matchup-wise, I do think that the Rams have a better defense. I think that's pretty easy to say. And I also think that, you love the Chase and Burrow duo, but, who's going to bet against? I mean, nobody's sleeping on the Stafford-Kupp duo. So,
no, and I expect Ramsey to play Chase pretty closely this game.
Yeah. Yes, and at least they have Higgins, they have Boyd. I don't know if Uzama's going to be back, but that was sad for my
Probably not.
lineup,
Probably
but,
not, yeah. He, I don't mean to laugh at the injury, just that Carson had him in his team, but obviously, if you saw the replay, it was a rough looking bend that his knee took.
Yeah,
so I really would not expect him to be playing in the Super Bowl.
It's just
which is a tough loss.
What lockup corner do the Bengals have for Kupp? They don't really.
No, but to be fair, Kupp has thrived against every matchup. So I really don't think you have, maybe the ghost of Champ Bailey shows up, or I just it's a tough. Deion Sanders gets on the field, but there's some historic matchups you could make an argument for. But currently in the NFL, nobody contains Kupp this season.
Yeah, I mean, Ramsey and Chase will be interesting to see because that matchup hasn't happened. That'll definitely be interesting to see. There was a while there in the Buccaneers game that he was holding Evans, and then just as soon as the commentator said that, Evans had 4 straight catches.
Yeah, and you were saying that the last time these teams played each other was back in 2019, right?
Yeah, it looks like 2019. Yeah, that's what I have here. And then before that, 2015, then 2011. So they don't play each other much at all.
Yeah, it's like the Olympics every 4 years.
Yeah, it seems like it. And we can't go without mentioning Odell's performance last night.
Yeah, he played great. I mean, you would have liked to have seen a touchdown from him, but outside of that, he had a solid game. I mean, I think they said it was his first 100-yard receiving game in 33 games played, which is that's multiple seasons. So that was exciting to see.
Do you know how many times Burrow got sacked yesterday? I don't know the tally.
I believe
it wasn't as bad as the divisional round.
No, not at all. I want to say, let's see, where would I find that? That would be, there were very few sacks in that game. So the most I would say he got sacked was maybe twice. But I feel like, honestly, the Bengals outperformed the Chiefs in that regard.
Yeah. Something that's funny to me.
Sacks allowed, one sack allowed for Cincinnati.
If they can do that, I mean, that's what can really hold them back. And what's funny, even though Stafford has got so much more experience, I feel like I like Burrow under pressure more than I like Stafford under pressure. Stafford tends to freak out. And I've seen many plays where he's under pressure and just does really stupid passes. And Burrow just takes the 9th sack of the game and rolls with it.
Takes another sack.
Like Garoppolo last night should have taken that sack.
Oh, totally. I mean, in hindsight, it was very foolish for him to just chuck it away.
The way he threw it is like he was about to get safetied. And I think Kyler might have been in that division
Kyler was,
round.
Kyler was, and I want to say too that even if Kyler hadn't gotten picked off, it might have been intentional grounding in his case, but that's a while back, so I won't speculate on that too much. I agree with your point that Burrow has. I mean, he's cool under pressure. They call him Joe Burr. So
he definitely is.
I like him. Yeah,
like it's you would say you like Stafford's experience more, but Burrow is playing like an experienced quarterback just from what he looks like.
Yeah, a very a veteran second-year player, we'll say.
He really is.
The one thing I am concerned about, and you alluded to it a little bit, was the Rams' pass rush is significantly better than Kansas City. So
yeah, I don't know. If
Donald
and
could be
Miller
are
all over him all night, that's gonna be tough.
Yeah. So that is we can probably try to wrap this up pretty soon here. I mean, we're excited for the Super Bowl. Obviously, it's 2 weeks away as of recording this, roughly. And so I'll ask you, Carson, who you got, and we'll get a score prediction out of you.
Okay. I'm going to go Bengals. I'm going to go Bengals. And score prediction. I'm going to go 24-20 Bengals.
Okay. I'm picking the Bengals as well, and I'm going to go 31-24.
All right. Some entertaining games, and oh my God, either way, this will be a great win. Stafford gets his first opportunity outside the Lions to go to the playoffs, and he wins the Super Bowl. Or you got Burrow year 2 with rookie Chase. It's gonna be good. I like it. Good matchup.
All right, cool. If any of you are still listening at this point, any comments that you would like to see in future episodes of this podcast, leave them in the comments section. We are on all streaming platforms and YouTube, so we'll be looking out for those. And thank you guys so much for listening. We hope you enjoyed, and we will talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.
Enjoy the Super Bowl, everybody.